It's a whole lot of us, that's my family. Wanna go higher, turn up the tempo, increase the BPM, okay. Increase the BPM. Increase the BPM. Increase the BPM. Increase the BPM.
What's up, guys? Chris Morgan, FCA, University of Louisville. Welcome to our weekly podcast, In the Huddle, where we invite current and former athletes, coaches, into this huddle, into this space, to talk to us about their life, where they're at now, what they're doing, what God has done, what he's doing, and what he is continuing to do. I'm excited about today. I'm excited to have you on. I'm going to brag on you for a minute. And here's why I feel so good bragging on you, because you don't brag on yourself.
Yeah.
You one of the most humble people I've been around, man. So it's joy to brag on someone that doesn't brag on himself.
Yeah.
A two-time Super Bowl champion.
Okay.
Super Bowl MVP, 11 seasons in the NFL, Hall of Fame inductee, University of Louisville, Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
But probably two of the most important titles, husband and father.
Yeah.
Deion Branch, welcome to our huddle.
Hey.
Mr. Deion Branch.
Yes, sir. Hey, appreciate you. Man, always, man. This is crazy. I know we've been pegging each other trying to get on schedule, and I appreciate you, man, being patient. You know what I'm saying? With I know we said this, maybe about a month ago, a month and a half.
It's good.
You know,
You're
but
here,
we made it.
We're here.
We got it done.
Well, Albany, Georgia. Take us back.
Oh, yeah.
To Albany, Georgia. From Albany, Georgia. Tell us what it's like. Because everybody knows.
Yeah.
Deion Branch, wide receiver, NFL, Louisville.
Yeah.
And this and that. But let's turn it back. Let's go back to Albany, Georgia.
Yeah.
Growing up, what was it like growing up in Albany, Georgia, in the Branch?
Man, that was everything. It is who I am today. You know, Albany is the reason why I stand before you, the Heavenly Father first and foremost. But me having the support system of my family, me having the support system of my city, the support system of the state of Georgia is the reason why I sit before you. I stand before you. I stand before these young men. The man that I am to my wife and to my kids, the friend that I am to all my friends. Yeah. Albany was everything, man.
Even like family background, dynamic. What was it like?
Yeah.
Brothers, sisters?
Yeah,
how was it look
man.
like?
So the crazy part, I'm the oldest of three. My mom and dad, trust me, I grew up single parent. My mom and my father separated at a young age for myself. But my father's my best friend. My mom is my best friend. Those two did an amazing job co-parenting for myself and my two younger sisters. One is Treyon and the other one is Takara. We had a very tight-knit family where it was like 3 or 4 apartments. They all next door to each other. It was like an aunt, a grandmother, and my mom. Okay. We just kept shuffling around. And, just growing up with my cousins next to me, my aunts next to me, my uncles down the street or around the corner. My father was probably about maybe 10 minutes away, if that, at best. My father wasn't in the household with us, but he was always there.
He's always in your life.
Always there, always been in my life. He's like my best friend. I talk to him all the time, almost every day. But then also having my cousins on my father's side that was nearby as well. So very tight-knit family. Did everything together. Still to this day, we do everything together. That's awesome. About a year to take a family trip here in July with most of my intermediate family members. Sisters, aunts, not my aunts, but my mom, my father, my stepmom, just going to go out and have a great time. But yeah, man, growing up in Albany, man, I love the support system with the family. Just love the togetherness that we always had. And it's all stemmed from my grandmother, Pauline Penn. She's huge on family. She was our backbone. And I think the things that she displayed and that she laid out upon her kids and my aunts and uncles, they still carry that same tradition. I'm at that point now where I'm trying to get my mom to move, but she's just like, this is where my roots are. Wow. And it's like a couple of her siblings have already left town, but my mom is just kind of fighting it. She just does not want to leave. And it's not for a bad cause. It's that my mom is getting older. My father's still super active. My mom isn't more so. she's just somewhat at the house by herself, and I don't like that.
Even older people sometimes see that as I've watched that with my parents and my grandparents. It's almost like a sense of betrayal if you leave.
Oh yeah,
your city. You leave it. That's a marriage.
Chris,
that's a family.
Listen, bro, that's a problem with my mom right now. She is having a hard time, and I'm like, Mom, I need you to either be closer to my sisters because both of my sisters are down in Jacksonville. It's 3.5 hours away. Not far, but a little too far for my likings. And here I am up in Indianapolis. So here I am almost 2 flights away from my mom. So that bothers me a little bit, but to her, I'm trying my best to kind of bear with her and let her have that, but it just goes to show you the amazing job that my grandmother did with her kids and how she instilled certain values into them, in which that my parents are doing and my aunts and uncles are doing for their kids and my cousins.
Hearing people's upbringing makes you get an appreciation, understanding of where and how that person functions. So even when I introduced you and how I've watched your life, how your family's important to you, it makes sense. It makes sense because you've watched that through your family.
Yeah.
Through your family. So two sisters.
Yep.
You mentioned cousins, aunts, uncles, family. Sports must have been really competitive, even within your own family.
Yeah, sports was everything. Like all my uncles, it's a huge tradition back at home for our entire family to go to this. To us, it's a prestigious high school. It's Monroe High School. That was a family thing. It was more so. Now I got a couple cousins who went to. Once they see this, they're gonna start laughing. Went to our rival high school, which was Doherty. That's our county, but that's a high school as well. Very good high school as well. But it wasn't out. It wasn't Monroe, and I took pride in that, and also going out, just carrying the baton for my uncles and my upbringing, my uncles and my aunts, and making my parents and my grandparents proud. I truly took that to heart, and being that as a lot of family members say, the golden child. My biggest thing was always to make sure that, hey, when people were speaking to my parents and my aunts and my uncles, it was always going to be something good.
And you're not talking about just on the field.
No, I'm talking about period.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This was that was my whole MO growing up. But it also stems back from my grandmother pushing these certain values into my parents, my aunts and uncles, and then they're doing the same thing. Because I want to believe, and I know deep down inside, all my cousins carry the same trait. Yeah. We all, and that was the competitive side of our whole family. My sisters are amazing. I love hearing people talk about my sisters. Yeah. Love hearing people talk about my cousins. And it's the same thing, man. Chris, that's just what it is in Albany, Georgia.
Well, you've done that. You've done that. I mean, Proverbs 22, I think it is. It says, a good name is worth more than
yes, sir.
than great wealth. And so, I've never encountered someone that when the name Deion Branches is said, there's no one that says something bad about it. So that's a testament.
I'll try,
to
man.
What you try to live like.
Yes, sir.
That's fantastic. So what sport? When you say sports in Albany, Georgia, what sports did you excel or really enjoy?
So football was always the family sport. Me personally, I went to the high school that I attended. Man, Mario, it's amazing. The coaches that I had growing up. Let's not even get to the high school yet. My little league coaches. I'm very appreciative and thankful for those guys. They instilled so much in myself, into my little league teammates. Growing up, man, just giving us the true values and trying to make sure that we were not a statistic. Making sure that the guys also knew that, hey, man, this is what you guys need and have to do in order to help take care of your families, to get away from this city, to not be in those streets.
And this is 8, 9, 10.
Yes, sir. This is 7, 8, 9, 10. Playing ball at that age, playing football and playing every sport as a young kid. This is where it all kicked off at. Seeing what this does to my mom, to my dad, to my sisters, and how it truly just brings the family together. By one kid just going out, playing whatever sport and excelling in it, and seeing the product of all the little work that he's doing. I didn't know what that work was until my uncle, God bless him, my Uncle Reginald, who passed away, 3-4 years ago. He was the guy that I would say probably worked with me the most. I owe him practically everything, and he knows it. He's up in heaven now. He knows it. My whole family knows it. If anybody that I will truly say who really got the best out of Deion and really taught me at a super early age, it was him. What that work ethic is, what I need to do, what you have to do in order to get to this. He never really spoke about, it was never a conversation about, hey, you going to the NFL or this or that. None of that mess.
You can appreciate conversations like that.
Yeah, but I'm going to be honest, it really wasn't a lot of conversating. It was just a lot of working. Outside, catching the ball in the dark. It's a reason why I was able to accomplish a lot of things in life. The latter part of life, I didn't see it. He saw something that I clearly didn't see.
Wow.
At the age of 7, 8, 9, 10, I used to always wonder, like, why this man got me outside catching in the dark? There's only one street light I can barely see, and his biggest thing, I'll never forget this. If you can catch the ball in the dark, you'll always be able to catch the ball in the light. You follow me?
Yeah.
And this was a constant thing we did daily. I did this daily. And it was just no talking, no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, some of the griping that I hear from these young men now, when he said, I did. There's nothing to talk about. No question.
Yeah.
Nothing to ask. No question to ask. Hey, let's go outside. Let's go. Whatever I was doing at that particular moment, just stopped, dropped it. Let's go outside. Do this right here. Don't ask him why, what for. I just did it. Because I figured it's something, I'm doing something to this guy and make him feel that he need to invest this type of time in me. And I'm very thankful.
Somebody that believes in you. Because what's the alternative in Albany, Georgia if somebody doesn't play sports?
Zero, Chris.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's either you've been in the streets, the typical.
Yeah.
You're in the streets, somewhere dead, or locked up. And that's the honest truth.
You chose to catch balls in the dark.
In the dark.
Okay. Well, and so excelled.
Yes.
In high school, you're getting recruiting. Obviously, changes.
Yeah.
It's changed a whole lot since when you were in high school to now. So, walk us through what recruiting looked like for Deion Branch.
Yeah, man. Recruiting was you figure the little league to high school, and I really got to say this about my high school coaches, man. I'm very thankful for all the men that actually helped develop Deion Branch into the person, to the man, the player, the athlete, the everything that I am today. It's a tribute to all those guys. Coach Chung, Coach Bradley, Coach Relaford, Coach Camp, Coach Edwards, to any of the coaches, any and all my coaches in high school, Coach Benson, guys who truly had a hand on me, Coach Wu, and then my teammates, man. I think from my freshman year to my senior year, you can see the little work that was being put in from my family to my high school coaches. I will say this, my high school coaches, it really more so went about the football aspects of it. It was way more mental now. Yeah. You kind of get what I'm saying? Yeah. It was truly all mental. We were faced with the toughest tasks, the most questionable things of training, to why are we really doing this? And there's more to it. It was more than just football. And a lot of guys, I saw a lot of my teammates who slowly disappeared due to not knowing or understanding or wanting to take in the teachings, the mental training that these coaches were putting us through.
And that's the biggest part.
Man, it was tough.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just give you a prime example, and I pray that Coach Chung and Coach Bradley and those guys, Coach Camp, these guys don't get mad. But like something as minor as this, we had this thing called a Chun run. And at this particular time, I know for a fact, none of these young men are doing this or have done this, especially at this age. This is 13, 14, 15 years old. Coach will probably load us up on a bus. We thinking we about to go somewhere to practice or whatnot. He'll drive about 6-7 miles away from facility. Tell us to get off the bus. Find your way back to the stadium. And then, you know, most guys, I mean, you already know what some of the guys trying to hitchhike, trying to find somebody, a friend or something that's driving in the neighborhood to drop us off at the stadium. I mean, back at the high school. Little things like that. And then he put us on a timer. You guys got 20 minutes to get back.
You was back.
We were back. And the guys that didn't get back got punished. You know.
You'd be surprised at what you can do when you have to.
Yes, sir. And the things that these guys, but at that particular time, it's like, hey, if we were to try this now with these young men, put them through that little type, there's something to it for a coach to be doing this. There's something that they're doing. It's a reason why they're doing it. You just don't know at that particular time. But overall, little minor things like this, our coach, he put us through so much, and I thank these guys all the time for their time, the things that they taught, the tools that they kind of instilled in myself and my teammates, man, helped develop me to be the person that I am now. But to that main point, as far as the recruiting, Chris, it was it was tough because myself, I tell this story to these young men on these recruiting visits. I was one of the guys who actually had the opportunity to go to any school, but I sort of messed that up playing around. Not just saying verbally playing around in school, but I just didn't take it as serious once I start noticing all these universities, or I'm getting the attention from all these schools. I thought I had did enough. X, Y, Z. My grades have always been decent and well enough for me to actually attend the university, but when they instill the standardized test, the SAT, the ACT, you actually have to qualify for all this. Even though you have decent grades, you got A, B, C's here and there, you still need to get a certain score on this test. And that's where I defaulted, and my opportunities started dwindling. I really just wasn't a real good test taker.
Yeah.
You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I just
know
wasn't
exactly.
a good, and a lot of people, I'm grown now, I understand that. At one point, I was just trying to I was having a hard time understanding, why can't I just actually get this test done, why I can go on to attend this university or that university? Well, God had a different plan for me. Yeah. I thought I just had it, I just got to knock this out, I'll be fine. I'll be able to attend the University of Florida because that was my dream school. And everybody was on board. Me personally, like I said, I defaulted. I'll never forget the last SAT test score. When the results came back, I was at the house. Excuse me, but I'm about to explain this. I was sitting on the toilet in the bathroom, and my mom was super excited. She was just like, babe, I got your test scores. I got your thing. So, and we all knew that this was it. Like, I knew at this particular time, I had the conversation with Coach Steve Spurrier, and he knew, and he was telling me, hey, we're good to go if you can actually get this certain score. And at this particular time, they had already told me that I had to get a 1180 on the test in order for my grades to balance out with the test score.
Right.
So it's a scale. And I end up getting, here's the crazy part, I end up getting a 1080. I missed about 100 points.
100 points.
100 points. Chris, that was probably the most, that was the loneliest and the longest time I've ever sat on the toilet. Literally, because I felt, and at that particular time, I just thought that my dreams were done. And I didn't know how to explain that to my mom. Like, I'm done.
See, adversity will do something.
Yeah, bro. Chris, I was hurt, man.
Can't. Yeah. So, but you'd already been adversity had already been showing itself to you in certain ways
in life, in general, my upbringing.
So now you're used to. I mean, you're 100 points short.
Yes, I was
of going to your dream school, and
now, what's next? Then you got to figure it out. One of my best friends, my brother, Anthony Maddox, we call him Milkman. He was in the same boat. The best thing about it is we were teammates. And here's another guy. We had great athletes at my high school, guys who fall within that realm, or you would say, if you don't make it into your dream school, then you can always go to the local university, which was Albany State University. I've always felt like, you know what, nothing against my city university. I love it. I love everybody. A couple of my friends attended the university. I just felt like I was bigger than that.
Yeah.
You know, I knew that myself, my talent, the person who I am, I wanted to take that next step and go away and do something different.
And as good as the hometown is, the
Yeah,
hometown
and I
never
love
really
it.
changes.
Yeah, nothing
you know,
changes.
and you want to, yeah.
I just wanted something
I can
different.
see that.
I wanted something different. So my guy ended up signing with Florida State, and he actually fell upon the same thing as far as school-wise. So they ended up sending him to a junior college, and then I ended up going. Here's the crazy part, I actually signed with Albany State. And then I just had a moment one day. My guy called me. He said, hey, bro, if you want to come to Jones, I can get you here. And he said, man, I think we can come here and do beautiful things, in which we did. And I was just like, man, that'll be great. They end up calling me. I end up going to Jones, man. And that's what kind of set the tone.
My time of working with athletes and coaches, when I see athletes go to a junior college,
Yep.
it does something to them.
Yeah.
Especially when you've gotten all the letters from all the schools and you can go to all these places, and then you're going to there's some high schools are better.
Man, listen.
And the facilities may be better. I don't know what it's like at Jones, but you go to Jones and there's a sense of you that's
Yes.
humbled, and you are hungry
Yes.
to eat.
Yes.
So tell me about going to junior college.
Chris, that was different. You know, and here it is, it's in Mississippi, and you got to think about it. People don't judge me on my age. This was in 97. This was in 1997. Clearly, it's just all football. And the beautiful thing about this at that particular time, junior college ball back then, it was, especially Mississippi, I love the rules and how they have it set up. You can only have 10 out-of-staters.
Okay.
Everybody else on your team is local guys. So those 10 out-of-staters, you better hit on every last one of them. Because these are guys that you're banking on are actually going to carry your team.
Right.
You understand?
Oh, I'm with you.
You got 10 out-of-staters. Me and my like I said, my brother Milk, we were the 10 out-of-staters. He's a linebacker. He was the top linebacker in the state of Georgia. I was one of the top receivers in the state of Georgia. We end up at the same junior college. Same
Jones
high
was
school.
loaded.
Jones, yes. Just us two alone, we had this attitude like, bro, we're here for one reason. We got to carry this team. You got the offense, I got the defense, let's go. And that was his tone. That's how he was talking every day. Like, D, this is what we're here for, man. I got the defense, bro. You take care of the offense, we're going to do this. Yeah. We end up winning the national championship our second season.
Wow.
Beautiful, man. But I think all the stuff that we went through at Jones, Chris, it wasn't nothing too different from my upbringing in Albany, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Here it is where you're getting the bare minimum.
Yeah.
But you figure it out, though. But it's always that journey that I tell these guys about. Like, man, it's a reason. Trust the process. Trust the process in which the path that you're taking. Stop just bouncing and jumping around. Just trust it.
Well, you lose a sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
You know, when you go and I'll never forget one of the guys that was here with our trainer, Kyle Johnson said, you know, he's learned to expect nothing and appreciate everything.
Wow.
So when you expect nothing and you appreciate what's given to you, there's a sense of like you're walking a little different. And so now you ball out at Jones.
Yep.
You win the national championship there.
Yep.
So now you got some choices now.
Yeah, same thing. Here it is. I'm back at that same point that I was at my high school year. And here's the beautiful thing about it. Most times you go to a junior college, you're there for 2 years. I graduated early.
Yeah.
So one of those things that was always sticking with me, like, Deion, you're better than this. You don't belong here. You know, nothing against my JUCO. I love it. I love my high school, love my city, love my junior college. But I always felt like, man, I'm better than this. Da-da-da. So my whole thing, the coaches are always saying, hey, what is your plan? What school you want to go to? Well, I want to at least try to go back to Florida. All right, we'll get you there. We're going to get you. We're going to align you with this path. You're going to graduate early. You attend that university in January. We're going to get you there. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but the path, everything that we set out to do, graduating early happened, all of that. One of the biggest things is that my bro, he didn't actually finish within a year and a half. I felt like, man, we came in together, we're going to leave together. And that's the only thing that hurt me. Yeah. When I ended up leaving in December, I didn't return back because I ended up committing to the University of Louisville.
Yeah. What was it? What was it at University of Louisville? I mean, so Florida and
Yeah, that story with that situation, I was like I said, I always wanted to go back. Coach Spurrier, he kept it real with me, and his biggest thing was like, look, son, when we was after you, you kind of dropped the ball a little bit on your end. You can come back, but if you plan on going to the NFL, you need to go somewhere where you're gonna play right away. You're probably not gonna play right away here.
wow,
And see that I love it. I'm glad he kept it real with me.
yeah,
It wasn't a case where I thought that I was gonna go in or I didn't want to compete. Yeah, I did, but he was just more so like, look, I'm loaded here at receivers. And at that particular time, he had about 3 or 4 guys that made it to the NFL that were in the same draft class as myself. That was at the University of Florida at that time.
okay,
So he was just like, hey, it's probably not the place for you if you really want to play right away. So with that being said, I took them off the list. Now it went down. I was looking at University of Tennessee and Tennessee. It was between Tennessee, Louisville, UK, Mississippi State, and USM.
okay.
It was like those
Got some
5.
good- yeah, you got
Yeah, I mean, it was everybody, but I kind of narrowed everything down to those 5. Tennessee was at the top. I was out with a friend, away from campus when Coach Phil Former came by, and I would have committed had I been there. He ended up coming through, and he on his recruiting trail, and he went down the Gulf Coast after he left us. I returned back to the school, and I'll never forget Coach Parker Dykes, the head coach, was like, I had this coach come in here, and you wasn't even, son, I've been calling you all day. Where you been?
Wow.
It's all these reasons why I didn't, it was meant for me to not go there.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, Coach, I was with a friend. We was out hanging out and da-da-da. And then he was like, I said, why didn't you tell me before? He said, I was trying to surprise you because I know you wanted to go back to the SEC. And here it is, the coach now, I may not be able to get him to come back. I said, well, Coach, if it's meant, it'll happen.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
Wow.
Which was
So
a
these
beautiful
divine
thing.
appointments, man.
Hey, yeah.
Just divinely stepping in. You come to Louisville, John L. Smith.
Yeah.
What was it about Coach Smith?
Here's that little piece. When Coach Former left, Coach John L. Smith came down. My first visit with this guy, I knew right away. It was like we were sitting in a room just like this in one of the coach's office. And the guy walked in. I looked up, down.
Boots.
Had them boots on with the spurs on the back, Chris. Hey, right away, I said, this is the guy. In my head, I said, this is the guy. I didn't even know what school he was at. And, because I was seeing so many coaches. The guy walked in, shook his hand. His initial thing, he walked up to me and slapped me, as he do now, as he do with all of his players.
Yeah.
Every guy he coaches. That's his intro. John L. Smith, man.
Yeah.
Love
you
this
remember
guy.
that.
Love this
absolutely.
man to death. Love this man. Man, I'm getting goosebumps now talking about this guy. Beautiful day, man. The man walked in. He walked up to the board, Chris, and he wrote some names. I'll tell you because I'll never forget it. He put Arnold Jackson, Zeke Parker, LaVelle Boyd, Charles Sheffield. And I'm like, and then he put Deion Branch. I'm like, bro, it's like 5 guys on the board. He said, yeah. And I need all 5 of you guys. He said, but your name is here. I need you with this group of guys here.
Those are some dudes.
You're going to help this university. I'm like, Coach, it's 5 guys. And I'm a team player. I'm all for it, Chris. I said, well, he said, look, son, we throw the ball about 60 times a game. And I'm looking like, what? He said, we put the ball in the air about 60 times. 60 attempts. He said, we got the number 1 quarterback in the nation. And that was Chris Redman.
Yeah.
I said, look, I'm all for it. We started watching a little film, and then he was showing me where Arnold Jackson was probably the best receiver in the country. He said, we think you can be that guy. If not him once he leave. Teammates with this guy, you bringing your talents to this university will help us. And I just didn't see it. This man knew it. He saw something. Yeah. I said, hey, I'm all for it. Took a visit. I committed. And the best decision I ever made college-wise.
Yeah. Well, he's exactly who he says he is.
Yes, sir.
There's no, charade with him.
No,
and
sir.
He kept his promise. He threw the ball about 60 times.
Hey, about 60 times. And everything that he promised when I was here from 99 is what he stood on everything. Everything the guy has been there by my side, by my teammates' side, still to this day. Yeah. We all love Coach Jonell Smith.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yes, man.
Yeah, so those names that were on that board, that's a great group. That was a great team.
Yeah, man.
Those teams, I tell you what, I've thrown Coach Petrino literally ripped me up and down because I mentioned the Sugar Bowl. Yeah. I mentioned the Fiesta Bowl. I mentioned a lot of different bowl game wins. Mm-hmm. I mean, he ripped me because I didn't mention the 2014.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
I mean, ripped me. So tell me just about your playing days. What's something that you enjoyed the most about your time here?
Man, for one, just all my afros. You know what I'm saying?
Was that the original group?
Yeah, I want to believe it kind of really kicked off with Miguel Montana, but we kind of took it there to that next level. You know, Miguel and I laugh about it all the time. But I think that Arnold Jackson, the Zeke Parker, the LaVelle boys, the Charles Sheffield, the Damian Dorsey, the Jeremiah Russell, these guys, we kind of took that thing, you know, and then you look at the younger guys behind us like the Harry Douglas and the Mario Uridia. Those young men actually took it and continued it. Yeah. You know,
they're still doing it now.
They're still doing it now, yes, for sure. You know, but I think my brothers, man, just loving and enjoying the moments and the things that we had, and you know, because we were still at the bottom. You got to think about it. We was Conference USA. We're in the ACC now.
There's still a little bit of a not the Jones.
Yeah,
but
correct.
There's a sense of a.
It was still somewhat just bare minimum.
Yeah.
You follow me? But those are the moments that kind of make your teams. Those are the moments that make you as the athlete. Like, what is it that what do you really want out of this? You kind of get what I'm saying, and that's the stuff that's how we took it, Chris. It was all football. Yeah. It was all football. You know, once we get done playing ball, practicing, we have a lot of fun. And we did it all together. You know, and the difference, I think now, these young men are just, everybody's doing their own thing. Back then, man, and I try my best, you and we try to promote the togetherness and guys spending and doing things together more often to these young men now, because that's when you reap the benefits from everything, and actually you truly appreciate stuff. You appreciate everything that you get. You appreciate the wins. You appreciate the losses of how everything transpired. Yeah. But that was it, man.
But men try to, I say men, everybody in general, you try to copy that locker room mentality once you leave the game, and it can't be.
Yeah, you can't mimic that.
You can't manufacture that.
No, sir.
There's something that you learn in a locker room where you can trust the guy next to you. You can compete, and you want to be on the field, but you connect a bond. I've said this before, but like athletics does something that churches really can do, communities can do, our country really can't do.
Yeah.
You got a group of guys with different races,
backgrounds, all that. Yes, sir.
Beliefs.
Yeah.
They get in the huddle, they hold hands, they call a play, they break it, they go execute it together.
That unity is special, man. Yeah. And once you build that special bond, it's unbreakable. Yeah, it's unbreakable, and you can't mimic that. And I think, man, still to this day, I talk to these guys every day on that Marco Polo. I talk to my group all the time, man. Chris, you'll be amazed. Like, you guys are really still, and here's the beautiful thing about it. When we're together, we think we're still kids. Man, we're almost 45, pushing 50. Great. It's a beautiful thing.
But the guys that you'll be in your weddings, there are guys that you'll talk to. There's guys that will do. So tell me. I know you're a family man. Okay,
Yeah.
We said that earlier on. Tell me, when did your wife? When did she start to become? Because you have to be a special person to be the caliber athlete you can, but you also have to be a very special woman to marry someone in the field. Of your expertise.
Without a doubt, man. And my wife is everything. I met her here at the university. Funny part about it, when I first met my wife, I told her, "Hey, I'm gonna marry you," and she looked like, "Boy, you're crazy." Like, I don't even know you. It was just something special about that woman. Something special about my wife, man. Love everything about this lady. Love everything about her, what she stands for, who she is, the person she is, the caring side of her. Everything that I thought I saw in her without even knowing her before I said what I said to her, it came to fruition. She is exactly who and what I thought she was. And that was just a moment, and at that particular time, that was a way of me just hitting on her. You follow me? But there's another little sign that something was there. At that particular time, we both were kind of dealing with, had other relationships with other individuals, but somehow, some way, we came back to each other. It brought us back, and now we're going on, 18 years?
18 years. 18 years married.
Yeah.
How many children?
Two
children.
girls together, and then one of the young ladies I was dating in college, she and I have twin boys together. Yes.
So total you have
four kids.
4 kids.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Man, that's awesome. So tell me, what have you enjoyed the most about being a dad?
Well, first and foremost, just sharing this life, sharing everything with my wife. Everybody talk about me being the MVP. This woman have taken care of me for years. Have done everything for myself. And trust me, she's the real MVP. And I tell her all the time, I put her on the spot alongside with my mom. But she's a spitting image of my mom, man. And I think that's the first thing. Anything you know about a young man, especially from the South, look at his mom.
Yeah.
Go to his mom. If you want to know anything about a young man from the South, any young man from the South, go to his mom for the most part.
Yeah.
My mom is everything to me.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
My wife is a spitting image of my mom, and then I pray and hope, and I know that my kids feel the same way about their mom, and I know they do, or else I'll tear their behind up.
Well, your wife, your mom, your children, they're the people they're not enamored by your professional
there you
career.
Go. That don't matter.
No, you're Deion and your dad.
Hey, look here. I am Deion. My mom don't want to talk about none of this football mess. I care less about that mess. My wife and kids, my kids love it. They love just to be out, just to see all the weirdness by what football has done for us. They're in awe by it. But my wife's just like, bro, Deion, chill.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, we need that. So,
without a doubt.
You have a great career at University of Louisville. Obviously, Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The Lord bless you with an incredible gift. Drafted second round by the Patriots. I'm guessing, you're more of a Falcons. You're down south, you're NFL guys. Or you're like,
I was a Houston Oilers fan.
Okay.
You got to think about it. I'm a receiver.
Yeah.
I was a Houston Oilers fan. That was the run and gun. They were throwing the ball 60 times a game. So as a receiver, you naturally want to go and play somewhere where you get the opportunity to touch the pigskin. Unselfishly, every guy would want the ball every play. I know that's not going to create or promote success. Yeah. Me getting the ball, and they always talk about how receivers are. Like, I probably was a one of one. I wasn't one of the guys who were like, oh yeah, I want the ball every play. No, I want to win. I hate.
You went
losing.
to the right team with that mentality. So you're drafted by the Patriots. You go and, you're in a team that I don't know when it was, adopted, installed. The Patriot Way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to let us in on what is the Patriot Way.
Hey, man, the biggest piece is being accountable to yourself and to your teammates. Putting the team before you. And it's a cliche, but we really embodied that. Other organizations are trying to mimic that. And I said this in that speech back the other day, about 2 weeks ago. You can see all these guys trying to imitate that, but it can never be duplicated, man. It's a special thing. And like you said, I went to the right team with your mindset, and you actually being drafted by that program, that organization, because it's team.
Which one thing, if let's just say, every player is important.
Oh, yeah.
But it's one thing for the long snapper or the field goal kicker to be accountable. But when you've got Tom Brady that's holding himself to the same standard.
Hey, bro, you better get on board or else you're going to get off the ship. And guess what? Every guy that came through that organization knew it's either you're going to be a part of it or you're not.
When was that wake-up call for you? Like, everybody's got one, like, okay, man,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is not little. This
Yeah,
not,
correct. That wake-up call happened when we cut Lawyer Malloy. This is when I really knew it was a business, because Lawyer had been a captain for that team for numerous years, numerous seasons. This guy was a captain. He was the face of the defense. And we released him. Well, I ain't going to say we. I ain't have nothing to do with it. The organization.
Just for people that don't understand what that looks like, okay, you practice or you're playing, and then
Yes.
tell me how that happens.
Bro, I'm going to explain this scenario to you. This is one of your captains. And you cut this guy right after training camp, like heading into the season. It was more so, I guess, I'm assuming, because still to this day, I don't know the true reason behind it, and I care less. I was just more shocked, like, yo, Lawyer's our guy. Nah. Whether they had a contract issue or whatnot, it's one thing you don't do in the NFL. You don't butt in guys' business on that standpoint, especially when it pertains to contracts. But lo and behold, this is when I knew, oh, this is real. This is real. When we released Lawyer Malloy, and he was our captain, I was like, this is crazy. He ended up signing with our AFC rival, the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. We played them the first game. We went out and got
back up. So he gets cut.
Yes.
And so the next day, or even an
the
hour
same
after
day, he was picked up.
What does the temperature go like when you realize your captain?
Yeah. The whole team was just like, what is going on? And me personally, I'm young. This was like my first season. I'm like, what is the deal?
But if they can do that to him.
Yeah, anybody. Everybody's getting it.
So accountability, Patriot way is
the
rolling.
Patriot way. You either get with the program or get rolled over, one of the two. And unfortunately, like I said, we played Buffalo the first game. They blasted us 31-0. And guys were in a funk, and coach knew it. But one thing he knew and understood, how to get this team back on the right track. It's not about us sitting here. Y'all gonna sit here and dwell about Lawyer Malloy. We're gonna get your act together. And we're gonna come out and play some football. And which we did. We had a decent year that season. We played Buffalo the first game. They beat us 31-0. We played them the last game. We beat them 31-0. Just crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But we had got through it, and all that stuff was behind us. But that's when I knew that the NFL was strictly a business, and this organization is about the team.
Well, business that really, the clientele or the people is really, what's the average, 3.5 years?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, 11 years.
Yeah.
11 years at not just a team, which is good enough.
Correct.
But excelling at the best, at the top level.
Yeah, man.
Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
What's it like when you're playing with a great organization?
Yeah.
A dynasty, really.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What's it like when you're part of that and you're at the top?
Yeah.
Did you dream of that?
Nah, I wouldn't even say that, Chris. It was more so, here's the beauty behind it too, man. You have, in my eyes, I'm super biased about it, the greatest organization, the greatest owner, the greatest player to ever play the game in Tom Brady, alongside many other great teammates. Like, these guys are just great people too. It's like, man, we figured out that bond that I was talking about. It's unmatched, man, and you got to think about it. We went back-to-back Super Bowl. Yeah. Super Bowl 38, Super Bowl 39. It takes a lot of, unselfishness from everybody to buy into that. And we had a chance to make a run at the third one, But, at some point, it's hard, man. Guys are just tired. Guys were just tired because we knew we had it, the will. We lost to Denver going on that third Super Bowl run. We had 5 turnovers and barely lost the game. 5 turnovers in the playoffs. Listen, man, you can barely win one game in the NFL in the regular season with 1 turnover, let alone 5. Yeah. We had 5 and we were still in the game. I think we only lost by 3 points. Yeah. It just goes to show you, we were just burnt out. Yes.
Not just to be perfect at one play, but to be perfect.
Yes.
The whole game, the whole season, and you string that together, and that's what made those teams so special. So You're part of one of the probably the greatest teams.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But not only that, it's like the Lord has blessed you even more.
Yes, sir.
Like you have blessed great team.
Yeah.
But you're the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
Okay, now like that, even saying that, like there's only what 50 or
What are they going on? 58, 57, 58 now?
there's only
Super
58 of
Bowl?
those.
Well, you can't say that because a bunch of the guys
Have
double.
won double.
Yeah. Tom has what, 3?
Wow.
3 or 4?
So that puts you
Wow.
that puts you in a
Yeah.
that puts you in a class
Yeah.
that's. I mean, you how many catches? 11?
In that one, yep. 11 in that
11 in that game, which beat what Jerry Rice?
one.
Jerry Rice record? Was that?
Did I beat it or I tied it? See, Chris, man, you
I don't
probably know
man.
way
I
more
don't know.
about.
I just remember hearing that. Anyway, you're up
Yeah.
there with Jerry Rice, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you
Yeah.
win a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
So you got a trophy, you got 3 rings. I mean, and you're not wearing them.
Nah.
What is that? Tell me a principle with that. You win 2 rings, a Super Bowl
Yeah,
MVP.
that's it.
And what does it do?
Hey, man, you trying to take me down the alley, man. I don't even, Chris, you know, look, you trying to get me. Hey, man, I'm super blessed, man. Super blessed, very, very, very thankful, very appreciative of playing the game with my teammates, with the guys that I blessed the field with. Those Super Bowls were for family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff isn't about you. It's like, that stuff is about all your coaches, these guys that instill so much stuff in you as a young man, all your high school guys, your all your aunts, uncles, your sisters, your brothers, your moms, your father, your grandparents.
And you may have felt that, but like to see them, I like to just
Yeah.
be a fly on the wall when you win that Super Bowl, you
Yeah.
go up, you get that
Yeah.
MVP trophy, and you talk about your high school coaches
Yeah.
that look on TV and like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
that's
That's
my
about.
guy.
That's what that's about, though.
Yeah.
Because it's more so, it's about the other people who help you get to that point. Like, yeah, you live in that moment, but in order for you to get there, so many people had to actually help support you, had to support you in order for you to get to that point. And it's a huge thing that I think a lot of individuals tend to forget. Like, man, listen, so many people had to invest in you in order for you to get to that point.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I think that's just a moment for everybody just to know, and then my family know that, man. Hey, I enjoy the game. And so many other people sacrifice for me. My kids sacrifice for me. My wife sacrificed for me.
Yeah.
You know, to be at this point, to be standing before all the world to say, oh yeah, I'm a Super Bowl champ.
Yeah.
You know, or also an MVP. Like, man, please. Everybody else deserve the credit, man. We just carrying the mission, man.
Well, that's a great transition, and you know,
Yeah.
I want to change just a little bit for
Yes, sir.
just the remaining time that we have. You know, I've often said that sports make a great game, but they make a terrible God.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Like it's possible that people can put all of their identity
Yeah.
into sport, and then once the game is over,
Yeah.
who am I? They
Yeah.
go through a marriage, and the kids are gone, and they look at like, who are you? I ain't seen you in
Yes.
18 years. You know, so our identity has to be something greater than what we do.
Yeah.
And so that's where a believer in Christ. Tell me about your faith. Tell me about who you are.
Yes.
When the game is gone.
Yeah.
Tell me about.
Yeah, it's gone now completely. You know, Pauline Penn, remember that name? My grandmother? Way back. That woman had us in church every Wednesday, every Sunday. Bible study, Sunday service, all day. That's just naturally what it was. She instilled these certain values. This is who you are. You're gonna carry this mission out. It's not about you, Deion. Somebody bless you with that. The Heavenly Father bless you with that. River Road Church of Christ. That's my church. That's my everything.
Yeah.
That's everything to me. That's my upbringing. Every time I go home, my family and I make sure my kids take them to the church that I am a member of. This is who I am. Yeah. River Road Church of Christ. My wife, my kids, I mean, they've been there so much now. They're part of the membership.
Part of it.
You know, their father, grandfather did. You follow me? But, you know, we go home probably once a year. But I make sure that my family know and see, my kids see exactly who their father is. See the neighborhood, and we attend our church. Yeah. And it's the same individuals, the same members that when I was a little boy, that was there always like, hey, support me, da-da-da. They're still there. Yeah. And the love is still there. Yeah. But these are the values that was instilled in myself at a very young age. And then it's the things that my wife and I, we making sure that our kids know and understand. Yeah. It's not about you.
Yeah. I don't see how people, you know, and we'll wrap it up. I don't see how some people can make it through when hard times hit if they don't have a solid faith in the Lord.
Yes, sir.
That if you really want to know what kind of foundation you have,
yes, sir,
wait till it rains.
Wow,
and then once it rains, now you'll see the foundation that was laid. So as you look at your life, give me just a couple.
Yeah.
You know, just okay. When life smacked me with this, I had to lean back on the principles that I saw from my grandmother, from a church, and what the Lord has done and doing in me. I had to stand on what I believe. Is there any things that? Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Give me just a couple.
Yeah, like I don't have to give you a couple. I'm just give you one. I promise you'll be like, I got you. One of my twin boys was diagnosed with viral meningitis. Danielle and I, that's her name, my kid's mom, my twin boy's mother, amazing woman. She does an amazing job, super amazing. He was diagnosed with viral meningitis. They gave him 6 months to live. He's 23 today.
Wow.
Chris, don't get no better than that. And it is hard for me. Look, I always, DeAndre's in a position now where the piece that I think Danielle and I and his twin brother Deontay deal with in his own way, the way I always tend to deal with it, I know there's a reason why. I don't question with God, you know, why this happened. It was a reason. But he's here with us. Based on his condition, they gave him 6 months. Chris, he's 23 years old. Every doctor that sees him, they're just in awe. No more so like, man can't dictate or control when it's his time.
That's right. Yeah.
The fact that you can give us the date, you can tell us your opinion based on his condition, but you don't control that.
Yeah. You know, it's one of the best prepositional phrases I've ever heard of is "but God."
Yes, sir.
And so when the situation with DeAndre or I have a child with special needs.
Yes, sir.
You know, that it's real easy to kind of go to a direction and be throw yourself a pity party. Maybe you're like, why? But God.
Yes, sir.
But God intervenes. And to me, that's where I'm going to put my stake in the ground, that he's never failed me.
Yes, sir.
He's never failed me, so why even question? As I look through my life, and you can look through your life, through the twists and the bends and the straights, that he has gotten me to a place where my life is totally dependent upon him.
Yes, sir.
And I understand my need for a Savior. And that's where I'm going to hang my hat.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Continually. So,
man,
it's been a joy to have you, brother. Thanks for coming into this huddle and letting us learn more about who Deion Branch is.
Hey, man, I appreciate you too, Chris, man. I know you blessing everybody with this and you giving everybody their flowers. Like, man, I'm very appreciative of you and the things that I've learned from you, man. Truly appreciative, man. Well, I'm just like these young men on the team, man. I tell you all the time, like, bro, I love every time you speak.
Well, I love being around, man. We didn't even you got to come back. We didn't get a chance to talk about you being a head coach.
Yeah, we can do it on another stage. We do a part two.
Yeah,
we do a part two,
I
man.
appreciate doing life with you, man. I really do.
Man.
You make it a joy.
Truly appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you, bro. Yes, sir.